All right, who wants to go first? You ready?
Sure. It would seem as though these revenue distribution conversations have taken a good step forward compared to where you guys were a few months ago. Are you confident that something can get done on that?
I'm very optimistic. You know, when the discussions, and I want to praise Jim Phillips, Ben Terrio, the whole staff of providing solutions. I mean, they've really taken a proactive approach to this. They understand the issues, and they've brought, you know, some various models to us that are being very aggressive, and that's something as a league we need to look at so we can make sure we're keeping pace with our peers out there, that we're continuing to be able to fund our programs at a championship level. So commend them. They've done an amazing job, and you know, I'm optimistic about the future.
Do you think you will leave tomorrow with a vote on something?
That's a good question. I don't know that answer to that right now, because I think there's some other people that have to vet it out amongst the board of directors and some others when you're talking about success initiatives. And so it's going to take a while, but I don't think it's going to take that long. We understand the urgency. Our CEOs understand the urgency to take a look at this. I'm very thrilled the CEOs are engaged in this and really examining how we can move this forward.
You've been pretty vocal in how you view things, and obviously the comments of the Board of Trustees is about saying that we need to take this seriously and move this forward. I'm sure there was some blowback for it too. Do you feel like you have the conversations within those rooms have benefited from kind of forcing the issue to come to the forefront?
I will say this, that these conversations we've had in these last 2 days have been the most open, transparent discussions that we've had since I've been in this conference. Now, I haven't been in the conference very long, but talking to others who have been here for many years, they've commented to that as well, that they've never had this open, transparent discussions amongst the ADs and the commissioner and his staff before. So the dialogue's been great. People are understanding the issues, not that they didn't before, but they're really taking a look at how we're going to fix this model that we have in the ACC that will allow us to compete amongst our peers.
How much of the sizable gap between the ACC and the Big Ten and the SEC could you close with a new model?
Yeah, that's some of the things we're looking at. We haven't gotten, I don't want to comment on that yet, because we still got to iron it out and flush out all the numbers and see what else can we add. And so it's a work in progress. But I can tell you, I'm thrilled with the work in the direction that it's going.
Is it safe to say that this isn't going to fix the issue, but maybe as a step in the direction?
Step in the right direction. I don't think you ever fix the entire. We're never going to cover the entire gap, but it will allow you to be competitive.
How much of an unequal share are you guys looking for? Like, is there an amount?
There's not a magic number right now. Really, what we're looking for is to make sure we're competitive. Because you look at what the revenue shares of other leagues and what they're going to have and how they're going to invest it, and you need to be able to make sure that you can stay up to par with some of the changes they're going to do and how they're going to use that revenue. So we just need to be in the competitive look. We're the third best media agreement right now. We want to stay the third best. We've been able to compete with them being the third best media agreement. And a lot of it comes down to choices that we will make on funding. But as long as we're there and competitive, that's what the number is.
Fair to say that obviously you've heard, I'm sure, some of the conversations that have gone on social media the last few days. Fair to say that
I don't follow social media.
No, that's good. Smart decision on your part. Fair to say that Florida State would love, an ideal scenario is Florida State figures out a way to stay competitive and stay in the ACC at this point.
100%. You know, the ADs, the universities, very unified. It's a great league with great leadership, and we thoroughly enjoy being in this league because, I mean, once again, we're a top 20 public institution. We're like institutions. We compete alike, especially in football at the top, and we're really thrilled about being in the league and competing for championships. And you look at what we do in Olympic sports, and you know that's big at Florida State. And you look at the ACC, and it's championships. We win more championships than anyone, any conference. So we're very thrilled about being in this league, and we want to stay.
Mike, you had mentioned, I believe, to your board earlier this year that in the previous decade, Florida State was last among its ACC peers in percentage of budget invested in football.
Yes.
That's obviously a problem.
That's changed a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel confident that is changing?
Yeah, we've already made big strides. When I first became athletic director, support of the board of directors, board of trustees, and the president, we made significant upgrades to personnel, really modernizing the front office of the football program. You see what we're doing facilities. We made investments into the weight room. We made an investment and redid the whole locker room. You're looking at what we redid the playing surface. I mean, we have made significant investments in that sport and other sports. But we are now investing. We're competing at a high level, and you've seen the success from that as well.
Because if you look at the last 8 years, Florida State's 32-32 in the ACC.
Right.
You guys need to be better than that.
We need to compete, and we not only compete for conference championships, compete for national championships, and that's where we're investing.
If the revenue distribution model, whatever it is approved, is there any concern that it's just kicking the can down the road? So, say 2030, when the SEC and other conferences go to market, you're still going to fall further behind. Is there concern about that?
Well, we're going to continue to look at it, even though we may approve a revenue model that this year. It may change. We're going to continue to tweak it, and what can we do to grow it. We're even looking at different revenue streams that's going to change. Different revenue streams are going to become available to us as technology changes and everything that goes along with that. So it's something that we're continuously, it's something when I wake up, the first thing on my mind is revenue. I know when the commissioner wakes up, first thing on his mind is how do we fix this revenue model. So I'm going to say it's going to be a working in progress every year.
Functionally, when the ADs come to an agreement on something, then the school presidents have to then.
Yeah, it goes to the board of directors.
Okay.
You said there were options that you guys are discussing. What option are you in favor of?
All of them.
What's your top option?
Any option that narrows that gap. Not to get into the details, but any option that's really going to allow us to fund our programs, all of them, competitively to compete for championships.
Would expansion do that?
Don't know.
You've talked a lot about Florida State's brand value, and I think you have a lot of data that backs that up. But
I like my analytical data.
But the TV revenue is a different conversation than just sort of succession initiatives. Do you feel like that is something that can still be addressed or should still be addressed?
Yeah, there's conversations that the commissioner and our partners are having every day, and so those discussions will continue. I'm sure. I know.
You mentioned new revenue streams and such. Is that part of what Fishbait is doing with potentially further monetizing the network?
Correct.
Because your president's been very involved in that.
Yes, been very involved. I've been very involved. It's my background a little bit, and looking at those revenue streams. And what I like about it is it puts the onus on me to go and capitalize on it. And I will bet on Florida State and to go out and do the best we can and kind of control our own fate. One thing I'm very proud of, and I'll state it, and I have before, if you take the conference distribution out of the picture, we're 7th in the country in revenue generated in the last year. We've made changes. We've done things on revenue streams we control, and that's something I'm very proud of. And we're going to continue to look to how do we push that model for Florida State.
Were you surprised at all that all of the conferences, you said these have been open, honest conversations, good conversations. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that it looks like you're able to leave here potentially with an agreement or something that looks like it?
No, not at all. We got some very intelligent people as athletic directors. They're the best. We got a great group. We work together. We understand what the challenges are. Everybody has their own challenges on campus, fan bases, directors, they all have their own different challenges on a campus. But we understand, we respect each other, and we're going to continue to push this forward.
When you look at your program now, is there an area that you feel like is underfunded relative to your peers in the SEC or Big Ten, like a place where an infusion of cash would make a particular difference?
Something I'm very proud about is that we fund all of our programs to compete for championships. Not every university can say that. I mean, they're all funded on the top of the conference. They're all funded top 20 nationally. And it's something we take a lot of pride in because we do compete, and the student-athlete experience of all of those sports, all 20 of our sports, is second to none because we do invest in them. And my goal is always for them to walk away with a top 20 public institution diploma in the left hand and some championship rings on the right when they graduate. That's our goal for every athlete, and we're honest about that. So we're going to continue to fund them to compete for championships.
So it's a matter of like maintaining that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What do you just think of the fury that has been the last 24 hours about people wondering about the future of the ACC? And
I think some of that's a lot overblown. You know, the future of the ACC, we're in that room, we're together. And we're coming up and providing solutions to one another. So I think a lot of that was overblown by others, fine. But in that room and amongst our commissioner and amongst us, we're together and we're trying to find solutions for one another.
Is Magnificent Seven, is it the number 7 or is it called 7?
I don't know where that came from.
Scared. Did you like the movie?
I never saw the movie. I'm going to have to go watch it now.
Who's your winner? Yeah, you gotta let
I
us
got to
know.
go watch it.
Don't watch the remake, the original.
yeah, remix bad.
Mike, was that just a matter, the fact that the 7 schools, either in smaller groups or collectively, were looking at the granted rights and exploring options? Was that just a due diligence type of
100%.
reaction to what was going on in the national landscape?
When you're looking at the national landscape, you've got to get an understanding of what the granted rights was. And that's, I mean, I can only speak for my institution, and I think all the institutions have been in there at some point. I'm not sure, and I can't talk to them about that. I mean, speak on their behalf, but I know we thought it was our due diligence to go and examine it, look at it, get a review, get advice on what exactly it means and what's the triggers, what's the dates, we just need to find that information out.
Is
Why
that
is it
where
so-
that quote came from in February, in the Board of Trustees meeting, when you were like, we have a good handle on the grant?
Yes.
Why is it so protected, like the Declaration of Independence?
We go to Greensboro and now Charlotte and take a look at it.
Nick Cage going there trying to steal that?
Coming through the ceiling, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else from these meetings? I know obviously the revenue became the thing, but I know you had a few other things on the docket that you've discussed. Is there anything else that came from this that you feel like, hey, we made some real progress here?
We've made real progress on a lot of things, but to be honest with you, in my mind, revenue is number one. You know, we wanted to spend more time with it. We got here, we expressed like, this is a topic we need to sit in the room and discuss. And the commissioner and the staff has done an unbelievable job of making sure we had ample time. We're still not done. We're going to have some more discussions, but to make sure that we have ample time to discuss it, look at things, and just be, once again, very open and transparent with one another about what our goals and objectives are at each different institution.
I know football drives the discussion, but Coach Hamilton wants to expand the NCAA tournament. Could an expanded tournament be a revenue concept?
That could be a concept. He had very open dialogue with a couple other coaches that they thought the tournament needed expansion, and that's something Bubba, who's on the committee, said he would take a look at. Not being on the committee, but Bubba's the athletic director at North Carolina is going to go take a look at it.
Thank you.